Hey,
welcome back to Fest.
Hey, it's the special version of Fest where we goofed and we talk over it again a second time.
So dubbed.
And Vaughn's here.
Not subbed.
And what is that?
You know,
What is this? Roll the intro.
You think we're gonna beat all these games?
Nope.
Backlog boys.
No, probably not.
It's the boys.
Welcome
it's
back.
Fest. We've got something to taste.
Oh, we do.
We've got a special treat
Pop that right there.
given to me by my best lady friend. This is some Ghirardelli chocolate, the top brand of chocolate I've ever eaten.
And this is
Milk chocolate with almond, like chopped minced pieces of almond and sea salt. Let's have a taste.
Wow,
Wow.
that looks good. Hello.
It's good.
That's salt.
Yeah, the salt
It's great.
keeps it together. Mm-hmm. Keeps it from being too sweet.
Yeah, it's not too sweet because of that. Oh, that's great.
Well, you know what I'm gonna say. I wish it was dark
Wish it was
chocolate.
dark,
Yeah. But it's still really good.
I think we actually talked about that.
We did. Did we talk about that in this, or was that something else? I think it was. I think it was
something
with
else.
Bjorn. I remember Bjorn being part of that discussion, so maybe
Okay.
it was in Newt 1. But if we didn't, the paraphrase version is that I prefer dark chocolate. My throat's burning already. So crazy.
It's burning?
Ah,
From what?
from the milk chocolate.
It's too much?
No, it just gives me this like burn in my throat. It's not pleasant. I do wish this had more almonds, if anything, as well.
Yeah.
I
That
really
would be good.
I love chocolate covered almonds.
Oh, it's
When,
delicious.
when it's a chocolate covered almond, it's like there's actually more almond than chocolate. But the chocolate is still like the prevailing flavor because it's so much more strong, so much stronger than the flavor of the almond.
Chocolate's great.
Chocolate's good, man. We talked about a new form of chocolate
Oh, yeah.
in the lost audio, the ruined audio. We talked about rose chocolate. A new variety of chocolate was discovered in 2017 in Europe somewhere, Belgium or Germany or something like
You're
that.
saying it's like the actual bean, like a new bean was
I believe
kind of
it was
discovered
actual,
or made or
yeah. I believe it was a
breeded.
variety of the chocolate plant, or some. I don't think it was just a different way of processing the same plant. I
Yeah.
think it was like a newly discovered species or mutation or something like that. And then they, put it through the chocolate making process, and it comes out this like rosy, like light burgundy magenta color. And apparently it has like its own flavor. There's milk chocolate, there's dark chocolate, and there's white chocolate, and now there's rose chocolate. And I want to try it.
I wonder if. Well, I also recently discovered rose sauce.
Rose sauce.
Like, so you could have a sauce for pasta that's red or white.
Oh,
Or you could have like the
rosa.
blended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spanish or Italian for pink.
Yep.
Yes. You just now discovered that? I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of that for a long time.
I went to this Italian restaurant with Leah. for
Sometimes it comes out
Valentine's
orange,
Day.
I guess, depending on the
Yeah,
ingredients.
yeah.
But
We went to this Italian place and so we make like this like bow tie pasta with like sausage and spinach.
farfalle,
Yeah, there you go.
if you want to be not politically correct, but
The Italians are
don't-
very particular about that.
yeah.
But we make that, Leah and I, and this was on the menu like that, but like good, or like by an Italian chef. And we were like, oh, well, we should try that to see how we could compare it. And it had a rose sauce,
Mixed
and it was
sauce. Yeah. So what that would be is
So good.
You have a tomato-based sauce that's red, like a marinara or why did I just forget arrabbiata? Various red Italian sauces that are tomato-based, and then you have Alfredo sauces
me
that
over there
are
on
cream-based.
Sounds.
Yeah. Alfredo and things like that. And if you mix them together, that's how you get an orange or a sometimes pink rosa would be the name that they would use kind of sauce. And that stuff's good. You know who also has pink sauce is Devani's.
Oh, they do. Yep.
They make really good pizza, and you can get what they call a pink pizza, which is just a pizza made with tomato sauce and Alfredo sauce mixed together, and it is very good.
Oh, you know what? We were each having a rough day on Valentine's Day proper, so we actually went to the Devani's by her apartment.
You and Leah, or
Me and Leah.
you and I? Okay.
We went to Devani's on Valentine's Day proper, and then the next week we said we'll go to a real Italian place.
Oh, nice. And that was when you went to that place?
Yeah.
What just happened to the footage? Oh, I think I know. We'll just pause the episode for a second.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, that was a weird little hiccup. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Hopefully that turns out okay. The timing for this episode might be slightly off as far as starting and ending. I have no recollection of what we were talking about. We were talking about pasta.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you were talking about you and Leah's Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So we went to. It's funny that you mentioned Devani's because she actually got a rose sauce on her pasta from Devani's when we went there on Valentine's Day, and then that inspired me to get a rose sauce.
I see.
In the farfalle.
Nice.
And it was really good.
Hot stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't had really good Italian in a long time.
And like the chef comes out and he's Italian.
Yeah, he's saying hi and stuff. Yeah, that's great.
He's making a point to see everyone.
Big part of the experience.
Yeah. It's good.
That's always nice when you have like a really, really top quality experience at a restaurant like that. And like you can tell that the chef is like a real person and they really care about what they're doing.
Oh yeah, he was super charismatic and just loved being there. It was fun
like
to
he
see.
just lived for it. Like he so greatly wanted you to say that you were having a good time and that you enjoyed his food.
Yes, it was great experience. But it's funny because like the other two things that come to mind that have that kind of like nomenclature is, you know, a rose sauce and then like a rosé wine, which is pink.
Yeah.
But they all have the same naming, but then all somehow also have the same color. So
look at all these guys. We said it was going to happen. There's so many red guys on the screen.
There's a lot of guys.
It's just insane.
Oh, it's gonna get worse.
It is going to get worse. The spiders aren't even ready yet.
Yeah. There's gonna be spees, and there's gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
Just get ready.
So Vaughn,
Forward incoming.
Let's talk about snow.
Snow? Snoke? No, sorry, Snoke.
Not Snoke. Everybody's had enough about that. Yeah, man.
1 HP.
So, okay, this is crazy, you guys, but not the last session that we had where we botched the audio for this and recorded Newt 1 and Cuphead for the month of March, but the previous session where we first started Newt 1 and recorded for the month of February, that late day in January,
big snowstorm.
Was a huge snowstorm on the day that we recorded, to the point where we didn't know if Bjorn was going to be able to make it.
Yeah,
to the recording session.
He was somewhat afraid to even venture.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not sure if I want to drive in this.
Thankfully, I was already here before it got bad.
Yes, and then when Vaughn left that night, he couldn't get out. He was.
Well, I got stuck.
You got stuck 3 different times.
And then I got unstuck, and then I got stuck, and I called Austin, like just trying to leave the parking spot.
Yeah,
I got stuck.
Yeah, we're talking like 16 inches of snow, people. Yeah. It was insane.
Tried to leave. Called Austin, said I need help, and he's suiting up at like 3 a.m.
3 in the morning. Yeah, I had just gotten into bed to finally settle in for the night, and Vaughn's like, I'm stuck in front of your house.
He's suiting up, and then I call him back and say, false alarm.
Yeah,
get a little bit down the street.
I was actually out in the backyard going to my garage to get my shovels.
And I was
when you pulled away.
Yep. I finally get out, and then I'm like maybe like 30, 40 yards down the street, and just get stuck again.
Yep.
And then,
which was just about the time I had gotten re-undressed.
So then I called you again, I think.
Yes, you did. And you were like, I might have to come back down the street and stay at your place. And I was like, all right, that's cool.
And then this Good Samaritan from the neighborhood came out, or it was out. I don't know if he was up early for work, or if he was.
I hope he was up early, because man, he was up late. If he was up.
I think he was up early. He looked like he meant business. He was he was calm. He was not didn't look tired. He
and
was
you said he seemed like a plow driver, which would make sense for him to be getting up at that time.
He looked like he was
plow.
about to go plow if he wasn't already.
Yeah.
And he had like all the stuff on, and then he had all this gear.
Yeah.
For doing exactly what he did and helping me get unstuck.
Getting people unstuck, yeah.
So he just comes up, doesn't
true American
doesn't
heroes.
even think about it. He just comes up and he's just no big deal. He's just helping a guy out. Helps me get unstuck. And then I get stuck one more time, but that was brief. That last one.
Yeah.
And then I finally
got out of there and got on your way.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty crazy. So
that session that snowed really bad.
So that happened 2 sessions ago. And then the last session where we recorded what we're re-recording right now, all the March episodes, it snowed again.
Yep.
Pretty good. And we were like, wow, it's like, I guess it's just going to snow every time we record.
And then we're having this makeup session.
Unexpectedly, we have this makeup session today on a totally off day just to fix this Fire Emblem goof that's my fault. And it snowed again.
Yeah, this is yet another like historic...
pretty big snowfall.
Yeah, big snowfall. Look
definitely
at that bow.
Definitely not as big.
Centaur with the bow, dude.
But pretty big. We were actually, one of the pauses that we did in the previous episodes was because
Liz got stuck.
Yeah, Liz was coming home and she got stuck in the driveway, and we had to go out and like basically fast shovel the whole driveway and get her car unstuck and push it a little bit, just so that she could get into the driveway, because there's probably like the snow in the alleyway was past the height of my boot.
Yep.
I know that for a fact because snow got into my boot.
Same.
And I was barefoot in my boot.
Same.
With shorts on.
Well, I was in an almost identical situation, but rolled up pants.
Yeah. So we had snow hitting our naked
feet,
naked shin bones,
and
getting down into our boots onto our feet.
That was not a good feeling.
It was not. But we got her unstuck pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah.
It was good that you were here. You were extra help.
Yeah. Once I was out there, it was pretty easy to.
Yeah.
Wrap up.
Well, and obviously she was pretty stressed by getting stuck at the very end of her journey.
Yeah. So close.
Because Liz's favorite thing is like when she gets to come home and like go to bed. Like that's her favorite thing.
So any delay to that
is like, okay, I've finished my day. Unwelcome. My favorite part of my day is like putting my comfy clothes on and like easing into bed. And that was keeping her from that.
Just like the release of that.
So stressing her out.
Yeah. But we got her.
We did.
She home.
But yeah, it's been snowing, folks.
She's got pup up there.
She does have the pupper, which is great because the pupper was quite antsy. When we kicked her out of the studio. She doesn't like that. She
wanted really bad to come help get Liz out. But
she did. She really wanted to go outside, and
I didn't think she would be of much use.
Yeah, she's not a useful. We haven't taught her. She's smart
yet.
She's smart, but she's not smart enough to dig a car out of the snow yet.
Yeah. It's that meme of like the dog helping push that Jeep out of the mud. And he's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's really cute.
I have not seen that. Ford driving right into that guy.
Why is meme tickling my spidey senses here?
Yeah? The Ford meme?
Yeah.
It's such a dead horse.
No, the dog meme.
The dog meme?
Yeah.
The dog pushing the Jeep?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I just saw this. Well, this is this awkward segue, but this will work. So I saw a meme today of it was like a guy, an older guy. Let's say he looked like he's 30. It's obviously from a movie or something.
How is 30 an older guy?
Older than us. But
yeah, but not
then
by much.
he had the appearance of someone who's like dressing like they're going to like college class.
Okay.
Right. So
like, did he look like he was trying to? Did he look like he was trying to trick somebody?
No, he looked like he just got out of bed. He's got like a bag of popcorn or something. He's like at home chilling, watching a movie. He's got like baggy pants on.
Okay.
But he looks older than his clothes give off, or his attire.
Oh, sure.
And then the other frame is like a younger kid, like 15 maybe, right? And then the the meme was that the 30-year-old guy is millennial, and then there's there's the kid who's the Gen Z, and like,
oh yeah, I've seen a lot of these circulating actually.
So it was I don't know why I found it so funny. It just kind of cracked me up because my mom and I have been joking about millennials because she's like, oh, you dang millennials, and then that's become a household meme. But the meme had, so like the adult is kind of loathsome of the kid, right? But then there's like, somehow they have this shared understanding where like the Gen Z kid is like going off on everyone older than the millennial, and then the millennial's like, yeah, fuck them,
Yeah,
I'm on your side now.
Yeah,
I didn't like you before, but now we're
apparently
we're on the same side.
Apparently there's a lot of those circulating. I just saw one earlier today, and I guess I wasn't fully aware that it was like a transitive thing. But it was clearly from some movie, because the older person was Kevin Nealon, who's an actor that was on SNL many years ago, and some random kid. And I
wonder if this is the same meme.
It must just be from some movie. But the text, it was similar. It was a 3-panel, but the text was different. It was like the older guy is supposed to be a millennial, and he says something like in a way that implies that the younger kid wouldn't understand. And then the younger kid says something, derisive about like an older generation or whatever. And then the last cell is the millennial guy being like, fuck yeah, or whatever. And yeah, I don't know what the name for that is, but it's making the rounds right now.
Well, it's funny because I work somewhere where there's very specific demographic divides. Like there's my age, there's the age below me, and then there's just like a huge gulf where there's nobody. And then there's like approaching retiree age. A lot of people work here as when they retire just to keep doing something, because they're still involved in music. A lot of them are former musicians or like conductors or teachers. So there's this huge divide, and so like a lot of the times, since there's enough people underneath me to be like a whole separate category, like I'll often find myself either being like, oh yeah, these damn kids, but then also like 60% of the time I actually find myself coming to their defense because everyone else is so much older that I have more in common with them. And so then it's been like one of the first times where I'm actually like riding out to the younger generation's defense, like, oh no, hold up, I know a little something about this, guys.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't remember what it was. It was some YouTube video that was talking about like generation gaps or whatever, and they showed like a quick scrolling across the screen, like the year ranges for the different generational like names. And I think the purpose of the video was to kind of talk about like how our culture uses that to help us understand things and make things more simple.
Because there is no like actual cutoff point,
right?
Because people just keep getting born,
right? Yeah, but it's just it's totally arbitrary.
Yeah.
Was basically the point of it.
But it's still,
and as it was scrolling by,
which is funny.
As it was scrolling by, I see the word millennial, and I was like, oh, I'm actually technically not a millennial based on when I was born.
According to this one.
Yeah.
Because
I think
there's a few different definitions.
I think it starts in like 90 or 91.
Yep.
Or something, and I'm 89, so it's like I'm generation Y or whatever it is.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen a few different versions where like I'm like a really old millennial, and versions where like I'm a really young millennial. And
interesting, yeah. It's like we said, it's totally arbitrary. Here
look
they
at
come.
All this crap. What the? Just get out of here.
It's insane.
Genghis Khan's freaking coming down from the steps with all his spiders
coming down from the steps.
Yeah.
The heck does that mean?
The steppes is where the Mongolian horde came from.
Like STEPPES.
Yeah.
A steppe.
Yeah.
It's like a big like flat barren piece of land, right?
Well, that's is that
the definition?
That's the derisive
steppe?
name. The steppe hordes. That's the derisive name for like the Huns. I keep doing it. I don't know why.
Juan's turning his pro towel into like a knee brace.
Yeah.
He keeps tying it around his leg.
Functional armor, because you can wipe off stuff on it.
Oh, that just reminded me. I've been hearing the phrase plot armor a lot lately. People have been complaining about movies and various media employing the use of plot armor.
Like someone lives because they have to.
Right, yeah. Allowing characters to escape situations that they shouldn't be able to escape because they are major characters.
Yeah.
And would be detrimental to the story if they were lost.
There's a little bit of that in Xenoblade 2.
There's a little bit of that in like everything.
Yeah. They approach this guy and they're like, oh, this guy's, someone tells them like, oh, this is the strongest person from so-and-so place.
Yeah, and you like already know that they're going to win.
And then you fight them and you win the fight, but then they're still alive, but then somehow you still won. And then you somehow still win in the end.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really make sense.
That more specifically is a very like Japanese trope.
Yeah.
The like, you kind of like beat them within an inch of their life, but then they like escape to fight another day.
Yeah.
And they become this like pesky recurring character.
Oh, there's a reason I was talking about kids and millennials and generations.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Well, like when okay, this is, we kind of talked about this last time, but it was an interesting discussion where like we both seem to have had similar childhood experiences in that we had a lot of freedom, like to like roam outside.
Oh, yes.
With friends and,
yes.
Like
something that any kid that doesn't get that should and would be envious of.
Yeah, we're like, oh, me and 5 friends on bikes are just gonna go somewhere. We don't really know where.
Yeah.
And it's, we don't really know who's coming with, but we're just gonna kind of do it.
Yeah.
And then
we don't have to like tell anybody.
Yeah.
The details.
Yeah. And
it's just like, we're going and we'll be back at the time that we say that we're going to be back.
Yeah.
Not we're going to stop here for a little bit and then an hour later we're going to go over here.
Yeah.
And I'll text you at this hour just going.
Yeah. Because it's interesting because I was observing recently, like I live right next to my old elementary school, within walking distance.
Cool.
You can walk there. I walked there as a kid. And, I had a bunch of friends who also walked to school. And I remember, like, if it was sunny out and nice, we were on our bikes going somewhere, or like out in the streets, or going to the park, or riding around, or even just like gathering, just sitting on our bikes somewhere in the neighborhood, doing outside visible. And I feel like somehow we weren't a nuisance to people. Like no one was really coming up saying like, get it, scram kids. But but we still were like, I feel like we couldn't have not been noticed. Like people had to have known like, oh, those are those kids on the bikes.
It's not like nobody knew you were there. I was
out and about, or like, oh, it's 3:00. Those kids are probably going to be flying around on their bikes now. Those crazy kids.
Yeah.
But like driving home a few times at the time when, the elementary school kids get out of school, I see like dozens and dozens and dozens of kids. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't see these kids ever.
Right.
I've never seen these kids on my block.
Yeah.
I've never seen these kids like outside of the context of them walking home to school. And so I was wondering, like, do I just not know that they're here? Because I've always had this sense of like, where are all the kids in the neighborhood? I never see them. And like when we were kids, we had to have been so obnoxiously present and visible.
Yeah, you would. You would think so. I had very much
somehow
the same
I don't
experience.
notice it. I don't know if that's like just like a retrospective, like, oh, maybe we were less visible than we thought, or is that like an actual?
I don't know how to explain that
divide. Are kids actually not outside?
Yeah,
I don't really know.
Because like we lived in a neighborhood that was very close to schools, and we never saw any other kids our age. Like we knew all the kids.
At the time.
Yeah. Yeah, at the time. It's like we felt like we knew all the kids that were our age, and because we knew the group of friends that we did, it's like we must be the only ones because we've never seen any other ones. And it's like you didn't see anybody that lived in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
You didn't see anyone. Like you
know the houses.
You know the houses and you know your layout of your neighborhood, but you have no idea who lives in any of those houses.
Yeah.
And like you say, nobody ever came out and was like, get out of my yard, quit walking between my house and my neighbor's house. Like nobody ever said anything to us. They just let us be. They just let us be kids. And I feel like that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
or it just doesn't seem like. But I don't have a way to know.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, like you're in your neighborhood and you never see kids.
But then like, they come out.
They're there.
Waves at the school,
right?
And they're like, actually there. Somewhere.
Are you just missing them?
Yeah.
Or has like the culture changed and they like don't go out in a big group and play? You know, I don't know. I have seen them in my neighborhood in the summertime.
Here,
this neighborhood.
This one.
Yeah,
okay.
groups of kids out running around
in the summer.
Because I live down the street from a school.
That's right. I didn't think about that school.
It's crazy how much freedom we had. Mm-hmm. Just well, and it's not like we're old dudes like reminiscing. About 2 generations ago.
But if you wanted or if you needed to call in to your family or something, you would have to use like your parents or your friend's parents' phone.
Yeah, you had to go to someone's house and call them from the landline.
So I wonder if that's part of it. Like you are untethered when you're not at a house.
Because we have phones on us all the time, even as younger children, it's like there's this higher expectation for communication.
Yeah. Well, and then because your mom could just be like, "Where are you?" And you're out on the bike with the kids, and then you have to report in.
But I feel like there's still a wide spectrum as to like how tight or loose of a leash you could give a kid.
And I was kind of in this interesting middle ground where like relative to the kids that I grew up with in elementary school and who were like in my neighborhood, my parents were strict by their measure. Okay. Because they could they all had siblings who were older, and they could kind of just do free roam, and I was an only child, so I was kind of like more protected, I guess, or more more well looked after, or more directly looked after. And but then relative to the people that I was mostly in classes with in middle school and high school, that leash was actually like tiny compared to some of the other kids. Right. They're like, you gotta, X time to Y time is homework time, and if you're not doing it, you're in trouble, and all these.
Yeah, I definitely grew up alongside kids like
church,
that too.
You're like, oh no, Sundays you can't do this at this time because you got to go to church, or things like that. That like we're just never
super regimental.
Yeah. Or like the, would always have dinner with X family member at Y time. Yeah. On whatever day, and that, I guess. So there were a lot of things that like. In where I would go to school and have classes with, like those people, I was pretty free compared to them. But then my friends at home, they were like, I was the kid who had to go home early, and like, oh, mom's checking in, or mom's calling your friend's parent, just making sure you're all right, kind of thing. It was weird having like being on both sides of the coin, just like depending on who's looking at you.
Yeah, I remember witnessing stuff like that growing up and not knowing how to react to it. Like you were consciously aware, like, oh, this kid has a different way of having, or like his relationship with his parents is a little bit different, where like the restrictions on him are enforced in a different way than my restrictions are enforced on me by my parents. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, he has to check in more often than I do, or his parents always want him home by dark, or his parents don't let him go this distance from his house. But I didn't like know how to quantify any of that or how to think about it. Like I didn't think like,
it wasn't like a decision the parents were making. It was like a rule.
I have it better, or he has it worse. It was just like you were aware that it was different, but you weren't really able to go any farther with it than that. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of interesting, just like you would kind of feel bad for them, but it was on like an instinctive level. Yeah. And it wasn't something you were super cognizant of and like thinking a lot about.
And with like reverence for other people's parents at that time, like you wouldn't be thinking like, oh, that's an odd parental decision, or something like that. It would just be like, oh, that's the rule. Yeah, exactly. They have to be home at that time.
You don't think about you don't think about it in that way. You don't ever think of yourself as being the parent. Yeah. So you don't see anything. You don't see anything from their perspective. It's just like they are the authority / opposition. Yeah. And they are dominant over us. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they were definitely.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, then there were the kids where like you were friends with the kid, but you never met the parents.
Oh yeah.
And obviously you knew that they existed and you knew how the rules were enforced upon the kid, you know, vicariously through the person that you knew. But they were just kind of this like mythical being. Yeah. There was one kid in our neighborhood that was like that. I had never met his mom or his dad. And they both lived in his house. I also never went into his house.
Yeah. There were some people like that too.
So it's very interesting how you can like know someone and be their friend, but you've never met their parents and you've never been in their house.
Yeah. I wonder if that's still a thing. Yeah. Or if that's it's hard to know like what things from your childhood are just like all childhoods have something like that, or what is, you know, unique to your generation or your time, or what you had access to.
Or like think about this, like now that we're the age that we are, like there were kids back in the day where you couldn't hang out with X kid until your mom had met their mom, you know, and like gotten to know their parents, and then once they had kind of signed off on it, then you could be their friend and like go over to their house and hang out with them. And like that wasn't super common when I was young, but there were a couple of those, and you definitely thought of it as like a lot of like hoops and barriers to entry to the friendship. But then think about that from our perspective now, as we're much closer to the age of where we would have our own kids than from when we were kids. And
you would almost want to know.
You see a lot more merit in that.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh yeah, I would totally want to know the parents of the kids that my kid's hanging out with, because, you know, that's a reflection of the kid.
Yeah.
And I don't want my kid hanging out with a bad influence.
Yeah. Though looking back, it's almost like, or when you're that kid, you're like, you know, why is it important? Why does it matter?
Yeah. Like, why is it such a big deal? You know?
It's that frame shift.
It's really interesting, because like your mid to late 20s is like when you're like right in between that. Like, I mean, unless you already have a kid by that age, but like if you're in your mid to late
These
20s,
boys don't.
Yeah, still boys, not dads. If you don't have a kid yet, you're kind of right in that point where it's like you're definitely thinking about parenthood, and you're at a mental headspace.
Yeah, because even if you're resisting it, you've still made a decision to resist it. So you've still you've put in a thought
or
into it.
Or you know that it's going to be something that happens for you at some point, and you're kind of gearing up for it.
Yep.
You know, so obviously you've given some thought to what you think you want to do as a parent, and you know how you're going to raise your kids and stuff like that. But you're still close enough in years to remember how you felt about a lot of things as a kid. Like you haven't lost all of those. And I don't know, obviously, but I feel like a lot of those can probably just instantly disappear once you have your own kid. And that perspective,
where you become the parent, and
then you become the parent, and then the kid perspective is gone. You don't have the kid perspective anymore.
I wonder if there's a sweet spot of an age as a parent where like that's
where you have both.
Yeah, where you still have a little bit of the.
I feel like it drifts farther and farther away, and by the time you're a parent of a teenager, like it's completely gone.
Yeah.
It's completely gone.
You've forgotten,
because it's been worn down, and you're so much more in touch with your kids' experiences as a kid than your own experiences as a kid, because they're so much more present and fresh in your mind. This is all speculation, obviously, because I haven't been through any of this stuff, but that's just how I kind of imagine it. But yeah, it's really interesting to think about right now, because that's like the point of my life that I'm at, where it's like I know I'm going to have kids someday, and I've thought a lot about, you know, the kind of parent that I want to be, but I still think a lot about my childhood too, and like trying to figure out a way to strike a balance between giving your kid freedom so that they can be happy and have fun like you did, but then also you're like imagining your kid like going outside for like several hours and you don't know where they are.
Yep.
And you're like, oh my God, now I get it. You know, now I get where my mom was coming from, you know, and you just think of all those times that your mom said
crap.
You think of all those times that your mom or dad said, like, you'll understand when you're older, you know, and you're like, no, I won't in the moment. And then you totally do. Yeah, there are so many red sprites on the map. It is insane.
Up by those mountains up at the top.
It is unreal.
It's out of control.
They're all packed together like Vaughn packs our characters
Packs
together.
it into a hallway.
Yeah. Freaking sardine strats. Just all friggin' phalanx. I'll stand next to you, and you stand next to me, and he'll stand next to you, and there'll just be so many of us that you can't even Red Rover your way through. Dr. Seuss, 2018. What's up with that purple water, Vaughn?
Well, this is the Darkling Woods, so it's spooky.
Spooky purple water?
Yeah.
Is it just water that has like light bouncing off of it in a certain way, or is it actually something other than water? You better know this. we haven't talked about anything going on in this game the entire time, and I'm trying to shift the attention for just 1 second.
I'm gonna say it's
grape soda.
I'm gonna make an educated guess that it's like kind of it's water, but it's like poisoned.
It's like tainted. Okay.
Yeah, unclean because of the evil forces the Demon King has awakened.
Darklings.
Yeah.
No. I just thought of something.
What's that?
What if you made an edge-ucated guess? Like, well, if you're asking me, and because I'm edgy, I'm gonna give you my edge-ucated guess. Like,
I might have to.
Instead of just someone who's informed about the topic, you're somebody who's informed about the topic and also edgy.
We might have to phone up Andy to see what he thinks
Andy.
of that. Yeah.
Dude, I know where he's living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the edge.
On the edge, baby. I don't know how he's doing though. Hopefully he's doing well. Winning races and such.
I can't remember who we played as.
We played as On the Edge.
We played as Andy.
We played as Andy, yeah. I can't remember the fourth character's name. We had Chub Intuck.
Yeah, like Entuk. It looked like a kind of like an Inuit last name.
Yeah, Entuk.
Yeah.
Yeah, first name Chub. And then the girl's name was legendary. It was
what was it?
Oh my god, I can't remember it. It was like it was something really misogynistic actually. Or at least mildly misogynistic. But it was just too funny to pass up. It was like wanna. It was on the level of like wanna see her naked, like it was like something really stupid like that. But I totally can't remember what the it was
something very much like that though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the third guy?
Oh, I remember the girl's name. Her name was Yessa Wood.
Oh, Yessa Wood.
Which totally sounds like a pretty legitimate name.
Yessa,
Yessa, like Vanessa or Dessa or Jessa.
What is it? I liked that Andy also kind of fit that. Like Andy could be some
Andy
sort of
sounds
weird,
like an African name,
or maybe like a Polynesian name or something.
Or definitely like a shortening of some like East Asian, South Asian name.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what the third guy's name was.
I don't know if he was as epic.
He definitely wasn't. He was definitely the least epic, which is probably why we can't remember it. But
I'll get in that
good old wave race. You getting that sore butt?
Yep.
That's all right. We're a pretty good clip to only be at sore butt now.
Yes.
So I saw a film recently.
Did you?
Yes, called Blade Runner 2049, and it was fantastic. I strongly recommend it to anyone. I know very little about it. It came out in 2017, I believe, and it was like really, really well received critically in the theaters.
Oh, it just flopped, didn't it?
But it like flopped financially. It was super weird. Like everybody that went and saw it was like, "Wow, that was a fantastic film." But then for some reason it was making like no money, and they pulled it from theaters like really quickly. And I was actually planning to see it in the theater with Liz, and then something came up, and the time that we were going to go, we didn't go, and then like the next time we were available, it was like already out of theaters.
That's a quick turnover.
I had to wait for the home release. But it was awesome. Man, it was so good. And it really was truly it was truly a film. Like, it was very artistically shot and composed, and everything was like really thoughtful. Like
quick
spent a lot of time.
interlude.
Quick interlude.
something's actually happening in the game.
What's happening?
We're setting up a little.
Oh, is this where you're setting up the warp?
Yeah, this is the strategy. Okay,
Oh man,
so
this is cool.
at this point, we decided we can't deal with this massive enemies.
Yes,
on
Vaughn found a
our
way
left side.
to, because we need to kill the guy who's standing on the
dragon.
castle.
Yep.
Kill the dragon who's standing on the castle, Mur's dad, and then somebody has to stand where he was standing, and we win the mission.
Yep.
We don't have to kill everybody.
Erica has to seize it.
Oh, Erica has to seize it.
The main lord has to. So if you're doing Ephraim's route, Ephraim would have to.
Yeah. So basically, Vaughn is devising a way for us to quickly do that in one turn without risking the danger of taking an attack from the dragon guy because he's
Yes,
super strong.
He's so strong.
And without having to fight through this horde of craziness.
Yep. So essentially, we're trying to kill the dragon
Safely.
safely in one turn, and then in the same turn warp Erica down to the dragon's area and then have her seize the throne all in one turn so that we don't risk getting counterattacked.
Right.
But if anything goes wrong at some point in this, then Erica would probably die. Whoever attacked the dragon would probably die because Reeve is down there, the bishop.
Yeah,
he's also
super strong character.
He's also a monster that you don't want to.
And right now, these mountains are like keeping the enemies from like funneling and surrounding us.
But it's also keeping us from getting to the dragon.
Yes. So
it's
you have to figure out. He has to figure out a way to go over
street.
the mountains, which only certain characters can do.
Yep. So at this point, I figured out that Ross can get up onto those mountains, and so I had Ross like trade a certain weapon to either Cormac or Tana, and then the idea is that Cormac and Tana and Mur are all gonna go up against the dragon and kill him. They should have enough firepower, and then I'll warp Erica, and should be able to
like
just end it right
Natasha
there.
or something has the warp spell, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're talking about a movie, but just keep watching it. It's kind of
Oh
cool.
yeah. Watch this play out, guys, because this is actually really cool. We don't often tell you to look at the screen in this series. All right, maybe we never have. But oh hey, check this out. But this is pretty cool. I was pretty impressed with this one. This is one of
all of my making on the spot.
Yes.
By the way,
Vaughn just improvised this, and
this
it's
is not in the book.
one of the techiest things that's happened in this series, I would say. But yes, Blade Runner 2049. It's great because if you're a fan of the original Blade Runner, there's a lot you can like dig for and read into, because it is a sequel and it is connected. It's in the same universe, same storyline, same characters and everything. But if you've never seen the original Blade Runner, you can still watch it and enjoy it.
Okay.
And it has a really cool like futuristic aesthetic, but it's very like strong with its 80s sensibilities. So there's not a very heavy use of CGI. Like it's mostly practical effects and a lot of like analog synth music.
Oh, okay.
It's very
That's cool.
And it's very like everything about it is very minimalistic.
Okay.
Like it's futuristic and there's high technology, but nothing is like grandiose. Like everything is very like somber, and there's a lot of silence and dead air. Like there doesn't always have to be like someone talking or some like big musical set piece happening.
Which is very, it's
just-
all unusual traits for like the high octane movies of.
Yeah, of any like action movie. And it's weird because most people, when they hear Blade Runner, they probably think that it's supposed to be an action movie, and it kind of is, but it's more of like it's almost more of like a suspense film. It's just like a slow burn with like various spikes of payoff. But yeah, it's really good. Ryan Reynolds. I always do that. Ryan Gosling is really good in it. And then Harrison Ford reprises his role as what is it, Richard Deckard or whatever his name was, the original Blade Runner character. He reprises his role, and it's really cool. Basically, the premise of the movies is that there's these like androids that are really close to being human, but they're not actually human, and they're kind of like there's kind of like this like under the radar like rebellion, civil war type thing building where the androids are trying to prove that they're just as good. And the humans are trying to continue their dominance and not be overtaken and become the minority. It's very cool.
Is this... Now that you mentioned Harrison Ford, is the original movie has like the monologue about like, oh, I've seen things you wouldn't believe in the rain, getting rained down. I've seen things you wouldn't believe.
Sounds really familiar. I haven't seen the first Blade Runner in a while.
Over Orion's shoulder.
It sounds like something that would be in it.
It's supposed to be like a famous monologue, I think.
I mean, I can't imagine what else it would be in a Harrison Ford movie. Because you got Star Wars, you got Indiana Jones.
It's definitely not Star Wars.
It's not any of those. Yeah. I don't think it's The Fugitive if he's talking about Over Orion's Shoulder.
Yeah.
So those are like all the most famous Harrison Ford movies. It's not Air Force One.
Nope.
So yeah, it's probably Blade Runner.
Okay. I haven't seen it. It's just for the record.
Blade Runner?
Yeah.
You should watch it. It's cool. It's very cool.
I mean, it sounds like I'd like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'd like the new movie too.
It's neat. And it doesn't spoon feed anything. Like, you could totally watch the movie and be like, yeah, that movie was cool. And then you'd think about it and be like, wait, like, if you asked me what happened in that movie, I don't think I'd be able to like give you a plot summary. Mm-hmm. You know, like you have to actually pay attention and listen and, you know, read into things a little bit, read between the lines. Like, there's a lot of like digging that you can do that's not all spelled out for you like a, you know, more modern action movie would be.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though. It almost has like, maybe it's just because I watch anime, but it almost seems like it has like anime sensibilities too.
Okay.
Where it's just very like somber and like artful. That was a scary attack.
Oh, him firing
when
back.
When he hits Tana. I remember in the first session I was like, oh.
Yeah. I knew it was gonna not kill though, so
right.
Calculated.
Right.
So my one problem here is that he has the chance to. So Mur can kill him with 2 attacks, guaranteed to hit, but he has a chance to critical hit her in his counter attack.
Yes.
Which would kill her because she has such low health.
Yes.
So we're trying to avoid that by using Tana and Cormag to
so you want
at least get him down so that
she
one
can kill
shot
him in one attack
will kill.
I remember that. So you just warped Erica down.
Yeah.
And then I think Cormag and
Cormag and Tana actually just they're there to just pop off a couple quick ones. And then,
nice. Got that in there. And now Mur has to kill her own father.
Yeah, that's her dad, who's 800 years old.
See ya!
Like a sage-like being.
Yeah.
And now he's just gone.
An 800-year-old getting killed by a 300-year-old.
Yeah.
Which to him it would still be like being killed by a little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and she's just like, oh yeah, that kind of sucked.
She well, yeah.
And then here's Vaughn eking out some slight extra experience points by getting a heal off.
Who can I heal real quick
before he seizes the throne? Because he says we're gonna need it for this last mission. It's gonna be cray cray.
Still going back.
Yeah.
Austin, I'm telling you, we're right there. We're right at the end.
Yep.
I'm telling you, man.
He had that kind of verge of tears urgency in his voice too.
So, this is weird talking about the last session, because when we talked about it then, it was actually that day. But we were going to Blue Sun. We were meeting there, and
like we do.
Yeah, it's become a bit of a ritual, you might say. You might know us for that, the sodas. We were going there. We were going to meet there, and Austin messages me. He's like, "Yeah, man, sorry, I'm running a little bit late. Me and the Neems, we're just so you know."
Oh yeah, there was a dog food crisis at my house.
Oh, that's right. Nemo was out of food. So did you have to like pick some up and that?
Yeah, I had to rush out early in the morning and get some dog food for the pupper. Because I had forgot to bring it home from work like a loser.
Okay. So he messaged me like, "Hey, I'm running a little bit behind." And then I messaged him back saying, "Well, I just woke up.
Yeah.
So you'll probably still beat me there."
Yeah.
And then you said something back like, "Oh, I should have known that not to expect Vaughn to be waiting there for me."
Yeah.
And then he just hits. So we have our Facebook Messenger emoji set to the fire,
The little flame.
yeah. And so then he just sends like rapid fire, like 3 or 4 little
Of the smallest possible.
the smallest possible fire emojis, without me having said anything yet.
In rapid succession.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just boom, boom, boom.
As fast as it would let me.
And then he just says, "You ever just pop off a couple quick ones real quick?" something like that. You ever just pop off
Dude,
a
you ever
couple
just
quick
fire
ones?
off a couple quick
fire
ones?
off, yeah. And that was like, I had just woken up and I was just like,
Yeah,
oh man, this is
we
gonna
had-
be a good session.
Yeah, yeah, we haven't even, and it was.
It was a really good
We
session.
had a great session. It sucks that we lost a third of it to my
Yeah.
stupidity. This is a little insight, I guess. This was the first game that we recorded in the session.
Oh, sorry, real quick. She's actually taken this like a champ.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's right.
They ask.
We glossed over this.
So they know that she's a dragon, obviously, and she's really old, and that
Yeah.
there's not many dragons, so she probably knows who these dragons are that they've found.
Yeah, and then they kind of like ask, do you know who that dragon was?
Yeah, and they say, "Oh no, that wasn't him. I met my father, and he couldn't come to help. He's the chieftain, but I met him, but he's unavailable to help us finish this quest.
She didn't. She didn't let them know that she just killed her dad.
incapacitated or indisposed or something. So she just writes that off.
Yeah, and then Erica says some nice things like, "I bet he was a good father," and she's just kind of like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
But it's a very tragic.
so she just, and because she's actually old,
Right.
she takes it in stride.
She's
and
very wise, and yeah,
doesn't let it break her. It's very moving.
that's pretty cool.
Let's get moving. Boom.
What were we talking about? We're talking about Blue Sun. Meeting at Blue Sun.
Popped off a couple quick
Popped
ones.
off a couple quick ones. I don't remember.
Oh, the session was
what I
really
was
good.
talking about.
you
Oh,
were-
yeah,
you
we were
were
just talking about how
describing-
good this last session was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Fire Emblem was the first game that we recorded,
Unusual.
which is unusual. Yeah, usually that's the last game that gets recorded
Yeah.
when we're a little bit sleepy. And I was like, we're finishing Fire Emblem today, so let's do it. Let's get wild. And
Yep.
Vaughn was like, sweet.
Yeah.
Vaughn was like excited about that, and I was excited about it. But unfortunately, I was so excited that I forgot that one of my computer settings was set to something that it's not normally set to. And we recorded the entire 6-hour session to a freaking webcam mic
In the closet.
in the closet.
It's amazing that it even detected.
It's amazing that you can listen back to it and that there's anything intelligible.
It's still at least 60% understandable.
Yeah, like
At
the louder
least.
parts, you can hear like some good bits.
Yeah.
But you can also hear like the sound of like 4 hard drives whirring
Yep.
and just dead air and static that's been compressed to shit.
It sounds like we're like talking to you through like a
Yeah, it's
like a playground loopy tube where like
Yeah,
person's
yeah.
like a story above you, and you're.
it sounds like what
telling
our
them
show
some
would have
secret.
sounded like if we made it in like 2003.
Oh, man.
like a webcam mic, like early webcam mic, or like an individual mic that's plugged into like a 3.5 millimeter jack.
Yeah.
On the back of your desktop, and we're
Or
and
like
then
we have
just
two
horrible.
walkie talkies that are just out of range, and so it's just,
yeah,
Mostly
that's kind
static.
of what it sounds like.
but you can kind of hear it.
I don't know. Maybe I'll put a little sample in somewhere, but just so you guys can get
Oh,
an
man.
idea of how bad it is. But
It's rough.
because I'm sure there are people who are like, "Oh, just should have just used that audio. Can't be that bad." But
It's unacceptable quality.
it's really unacceptable. Like it just
such a polished show.
if there was any way you could like just like push through it and still listen to it and get it, you know, like I would have gone for it because it would have saved me some work and all that sort of thing. But it was definitely couldn't be done.
Oh, guys, it's that time. You have to go home, don't you? So when next week comes, check out another episode of this.
Yes, we'll
Final
be
mission.
entering the final mission.
Yep.
Yes, and this is our final mission of this game where we record the audio. But we'll see you on Wednesday for Newt 1
Bjorn.
with Bjorn. We'll see you on Friday for
Bjorn.
Cuphead. We'll see you on Twitter if you want to say hello or recommend a soda. And we'll see you on Instagram if you want to watch us taste some sodas.
Yes.
And see the
Snacks,
various
too. Pictures of snacks.
various snacks that we are logging. But until
Give
then,
us suggestions.
it's been great.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the next one.
This somber music with that bouncing and knowing what should be there, it's just such a dichotomy.
It's kind of weird.